Some of you are exhausted, not because of what you're building, but because of what you keep trying to hold together that was never yours to stabilize in the first place. And it's subtle. It shows up in conversations and last minute favors and being the one that always figures it out when someone else doesn't have a plan. You become the contingency plan for someone in environments that never built one. And the problem isn't that you care. The problem is that you confuse care with obligation. You started treating emotional emergencies like they're margin calls that you have to respond to immediately. But here's what I've been noticing lately. Every time I overextend into something that wasn't structurally mine to solve, my own execution drops. My timing gets rushed. My attention splits. I start entering decisions, whether if it's financial, creative, or relational, from urgency instead of alignment. And urgency looks a lot like participation. It feels productive. It kind of does feel like leadership. But most of the time, it's just leakage. Because leverage doesn't come from being available to everything. It comes from being protected from the things that interrupt your structure. You can't scale calm if you're constantly stabilizing chaos that regenerates every 48 hours. In trading, this shows up when you're adjusting your plan mid-trade because you feel responsible for recovering faster than the system allows. You tighten stops, you double size, you enter again too soon. But not because the setup changed, but because you're trying to rescue the outcome. And now your decision making is being driven by discomfort instead of structure. The same thing happens in life. You start making financial decisions to compensate for someone else's lack of planning. You say yes to commitments that slowly eat away at that 1 hour you have for your own execution. And then you wonder why everything feels rushed, even when technically nothing is urgent. Because your system is being interrupted by emergencies. It's being interrupted by access. It's not being interrupted by emergencies. It's being interrupted by access. A limited access to your attention. A limited access to your availability. A limited access to your problem-solving capacity. And leadership doesn't mean absorbing instability. Leadership means designing boundaries that allow stability to exist without your constant intervention. You don't need to rescue every breakdown in real time. Sometimes the most leveraged move is letting the system reveal itself without stepping in to soften those consequences. Because the more that you interrupt feedback loops, the longer instability lasts. So, if you're looking to build something that can actually scale, whether if it's financially, creatively, or personally, start by paying attention to where you're being pulled into urgency that wasn't scheduled, that wasn't planned for, but now feels like your responsibility to resolve. Not every fire needs your hands on it. Some things stabilize faster when you stop responding emotionally and start protecting your own execution window. Same system, different day. This is Curated Currents.